Hi, YouTube. It's Steve. Anyway, I kind of made a mistake.
What are you doing?
I accidentally, on purpose, sent a super chat and a membership to an active addict on YouTube, and I'm trying to reverse it.
Oh,
I know.
gosh.
I meant well. Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Mark.
And this is SmokeySteveAndMarc.
Oh, yes, it is.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's really nice to see you.
And happy Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
It is the weekend, so we know what that means. I actually made Javi coffee.
I did too.
With a little sweetener and a little of this and that. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's a new microdose.
Microdose.
It's actually pretty good. I love it.
No sponsors, but it's tasty.
I very rarely get to use my mug.
Your mug. Well, you're not here on the weekends.
Yeah, see now.
Well, you're
Mark,
usually, in the garden.
I know.
So-
Yeah, true.
So today we are going to have some discussions about our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, the Daily Chantopolis, and of course Foodie Beauty again for now. Now, I brought in reinforcements. Okay, because this week we're doing sort of a week in review, but more we're going to focus on her Freudian slip, her substance use, and how that intersects with her mental health, and how it intersects with her food issues. And in the interest of that, I brought Mark, who happens to work in the field
I do.
of drug and alcohol. Neither of us are therapists. Neither of us are psychiatrists.
I'm not a clinical therapist. I'm not, but I do work in drug and alcohol, and I do have lived experience as well. In remission, of course, for many, many years now. But
and I have lived experience also. My training is on the mental health side of things, but we're also not at work. So the bulk of what we'll be sharing is pretty much observations, personal experience, and some stuff that's so damn obvious it shouldn't have to be pointed out.
Right.
But we're gonna kind of go from there. So where we left off last week, Tell Me Lies. I think that was the title of the video.
It was.
We learned
Tell
that she
me
was,
lies, tell me sweetly.
seeing Dom the entire time.
Yeah.
There was sketchiness around her moving, talking about Pete's and she's going to move and he's going to move. And that kind of goes back to what was really going on with that wellness call a while back where the po-po came. Exactly. And there was that really all much ado about nothing.
I know.
Okay, I don't think it was much ado about nothing. Shrooms came up. And I had said there's nothing I want to see less than her subconscious pour out. I don't want to see mine do it either. I think I did it. It wasn't pretty. When I had. It only happened once. We'll say that. Her rapid weight loss.
Yes.
Yes, Ozempic with a little help can do
With
wonderful
a little
things.
help can do yes, it can.
Amazing
things.
It
can. And
yeah,
we have a pin on that too because
yes. Because there were some glib things over their memberships. People were buying memberships and then getting blocked, and they weren't being able to access the site even though they were paying money for it. And then there was also an issue with sending super chats or you'll be blocked. Just playing with her audience. Literally playing with their feelings, according to some people. Playing on their emotions, according to others. And I'll talk about that later. Okay. So, let's talk about the truth. Now, there was other events going on this week with her. She did some other things and we'll touch on. But the truth is what we're talking about with her substance use.
Yes.
Her substance use, which many have suspected, but she kept under the belt poorly. For a while. Her confession was moot. That would be like saying, Mark, I have something to tell you. I'm gay.
Yes.
Big news. Tear out the front page. So she comes clean and says that she's been using. Okay. And she's been using for 2 months. Using cocaine for 2 months. Anyone surprised?
Well, I wasn't. I wasn't. And it was a very... we'll say emotional, confession.
She was crying and gnashing of teeth, and she's prone to melodramatics.
She is.
But she was having a total meltdown in the middle of it. And I obviously my heart was bleeding for her because I have a history of meltdowns myself. And I was kind of like, I don't know. And she kept saying, she talked to BB about her situation, and BB is a good person to bounce off of. BB is her ex. You remember BB?
I remember BB, yeah.
The only sane person in her life is BB.
Yeah.
Everybody else, it sounds like either
right?
enables this, blows smoke at her, or has cut her loose.
Yeah.
So, and Pete's.
It's very true.
But
and
Pete's comes with the
Pete's
house.
Is there too, and yes, and that's another thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So we won't get to me for a minute or two.
Okay.
She kind of discusses escalation when she's talking about using. I started a little bit at first, and she was doing cocaine, and then a little more, and then a little more, and then it was every day, and then I'm lying about doing it, and then I'm lying about doing it the whole time. So escalation. She started, let's say, in her words, she said, "I'm addicted to everything. I'm addicted to food, and if it's not food, it's this. If it's not food, it's that." Thoughts
on that?
I've said as much, but But is that accurate?
I believe so. Yes. I mean, for a lot of times, people who have substance use disorders have polysubstance use disorders, and they also have addiction. We'll say addictive tendencies towards anything. You know, when I got clean, my addiction switched from my drug of choice to shopping, and I didn't even realize it. It's a very, very real thing.
Shopping?
You are left with a hole. When you remove something, you're left with a hole, and that hole screams out to be filled, and it'll be filled in any way that it can, especially for a person with a substance use disorder. So they're going to fill it with whatever. Now, her, obviously, would food for sure, and now all of these different substances that she's been using over the last couple months. Now, so we'll see where it goes, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, could you argue that attention could be something that would fill the void?
Absolutely. Another addictive thing as well.
Attention, good, bad, or for any reason.
For any reason at all, yeah.
I tend to kind of fall in the same boat myself. And Chantal, again, has said as much. She's just looking for something to fill it. Could attention be the thing that's filling it? Very good case could be made for yes. Why? Because these are very personal issues that are all on YouTube.
Yes, very public.
I don't know if I should know this much about another person without snooping. I really don't, because I haven't had to look far. I've never been on Kiwi Farms. I don't even know what it is. And yet just from watching her content and reactors who use her content, I know way too much about this chick, and it's just as a viewer, I'm not looking anywhere else.
Yeah, and we got a pin on that too, because that something else goes into that too.
So, substituting substances. So this came up last week. She couldn't get edibles. We know she likes her edibles, and she's a very unapologetic pothead, THC advocate, whatever. This will be part of her life to the dismay of Karate Joe. Yes. She will continue to do this. He wants her to go for walks and eat vegan. I don't know what Karate Joe wants for her, but she's not wholesome enough for him. I don't think either of us are. No. Honestly, you, me, or Chantal. No. But she was going from edibles, and then last week she ended up getting shrooms. She got the shrooms because there were no edibles. So it wasn't like, no edibles, I can't have what I want.
Right.
Like if you go to the liquor store and you're looking for gin and they don't have gin, you leave. Because there's no gin, and that's what you wanted. Yeah. You don't buy vodka instead. You don't buy bourbon instead. They don't have what you want. You go. She substituted.
Yeah.
Quite literally substituted.
Unless, right.
Because I need to be effed up in some way.
Yes.
And if it can't be the way I want, I'll take something else. That'll be okay.
Another behavior that is fairly common.
Yeah. When I couldn't get the money to drink vodka, I switched to mouthwash. Because it was cheaper and then eventually easier to steal. You see how these things are a slippery slope? I'm a college graduate with honors.
Yeah.
And I was chugging Listerine in Burger King bathroom.
That you got from the dollar store.
That I stole from Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
It goes very quick.
It does.
This is why, 5-6 videos ago, I remember saying, Chantal, it goes so fast, and it'll get so bad so fast, and you don't even know. Yes. But whatever. Okay. So... Yeah. In the live chat, where she's giving this full confession and melting down, and I don't believe it's there anymore, so you'd have to go, I think, hunting for it. Crying, gnashing of teeth, I don't know, I can't help that I lie, I don't know why I did this to myself. So she's crying and weeping, and now we'll get to me. I'm watching. You're in the shower.
Yes.
This is how Mark got off the hook for this.
Yes.
I'm sitting there and I'm watching this, and maybe I'm a little emotional, so I'm seeing her melting down. Well, I'm either watching a woman melt down because she's in the middle of substance abuse, or a woman lying about having a substance abuse problem. Either way, something's not
Yeah, either way, they're both, you take pause at both of that.
Either of them, I'm like, oh, shit, you
yes.
know? So as I'm watching, I'm feeling some heartstrings getting pulled for me, for those two reasons. And I thought, well, I should send some support, you know? And, you know, I get lost in the fact that Chantal was a human being under all of her, you know, madness. So I'm like, well, I don't want to send a DM because that looks shady, because it looks like I'm communicating with her off of YouTube. So I thought, well, I should send it into the chat. So I ended up buying a membership because I thought I could just type it into the chat, and then I thought she'll never see it, so I send a super chat.
Yeah.
Now, I was wrong to do that. My intentions were good, but after having discussed it with you and Mom again, and there was many, many good comments about it. Oh, yeah. They're the kind of thing, like, you know, your commenters are on point when you're receptive to how they say it, and you recognize that you did something wrong. I'm not sorry that I cared about how she was doing. I'm not sorry that I wanted to get a good word out to her. The fact that there was money attached to it, though, is the reason I wouldn't have done it again. That's the only reason I wouldn't have done it again, and why I regret doing it when I did, because it did pass money from my hands to hers, which she uses to sustain her life. Yeah. And I can't go in and itemize that she only used my $10 for gas.
Yeah, like you know, she said in a live stream, I won't use
your money for this or that. And as I thought about it, I thought, how fucking stupid was I? So at any rate, my heart goes out to her. I'm free to do that. But it was foolish of me to put my wallet out there for her to do it in that way. So I got played, more or less, because within the next couple days,
So I know, but you are not to defend. No, I'm not defending her or anything, but I get it. I understand it totally. When I watched it back, I felt for her too, and on different levels, but I did feel for her too. And you are a caring. He is a caring person. Underneath this rugged, you know, he's an extremely emotional,
I'm a cream puff. You think he's the nice one? I'm the nice one.
And it does not surprise me at all that you went out of your way in whatever way you could to reach her right then in that moment when you felt that you could reach her.
But,
you know,
in hindsight,
right.
Looking back on it and looking back at the way of reaching her, it's not something I would do again. And that's and because of the money, that's exactly why. Yeah. So again, thank you commenters who were firm in their convictions of it, because I was receptive to that. And then again, we talked about it, and it's like, you know what? That's not the kind of thing I would want to do again.
Right.
So at least not to someone who's actively using, which was confirmed a few days later.
It was.
That she was, 3 days sober is not sober. 3 days clean, we'll say, out of a habit.
And we have to remember that we are going on what she is telling us.
Exactly. It's not like she's going to an inpatient place where they're tracking her progress, or there's people that like support group meetings, sometimes 12-steppy ones, and they give out acknowledgments for one day after the next. If there was something to be proud of, she'd be showing those chips all over the camera. Look, because it's evidence, supposedly, of how a person is doing.
Yeah.
None of that came up. So there goes my good intentions. The road to hell is paved with them. So again, Mark was in the shower. She was exaggerating. I don't care about. And then we go into the next one. Withdrawal. The day she is allegedly having withdrawal. No one's ever looked better having withdrawal than Chantal. She was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and having a good time. And later in the day, she was whacked out on edibles. I wish they gave out edibles at the 5 rehabs I went to. I really do. Right? Don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how much fun detox would have been? Oh, my God. We could just sit around and eat the peanut butter and graham crackers that they always have.
There.
Fireworks.
I didn't want it to distract from you.
Like, that doesn't distract from me. At any rate.
I tried.
At any rate. So she's going through the day after. Now, I don't know much. I'm not going to go into the medical version of what's detox from cocaine, because it's out of my wheelhouse and I've never detoxed from it. So I don't want to weigh into that. But she's awfully chipper mentally, because mental dependence is a part of it. There's physical and then there's the mental part of it. Physically, 3 days out, I was having seizures, but my drug of choice was different. Yes. So it's not apples to apples necessarily when you're talking about that. So the fact that she doesn't look like hammered shit doesn't necessarily mean as much as if she was coming off of other drugs with longer withdrawal times. However, that said, she seems way too chipper. She seems way too chipper for having stopped, is what I think. Was that your impression?
Oh, yeah. No, that was my impression.
Because that was my impression.
Yeah. And, I mean, the withdrawal from cocaine is different from other drugs. Withdrawal from cocaine is basically the coming down from it. There's not, very, very, very rarely do you get admitted into a detox for cocaine.
For coke. Or if you're in detox, it's 2 days.
And it's very quick. It's very quick. It's a lot of emotional stuff. It's a lot of emotional junk. And the coming down process. You know?
So I don't suspect that she stopped.
Again, just an opinion. I don't think so.
That's my opinion. I don't know her life, and she could very rightfully say, I don't know what she does off camera.
Are we going on a timeline here, or because it came up later?
It came up later. She cried. I caved. She comes back the next day saying she's in withdrawal.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't look like much withdrawal to me as I'm going through this.
It didn't.
Plus, she was scheduling all these appointments on a holiday. It'd be like,
scheduling this.
First, they were scheduled to be seen with her, and then they were phone appointments, and then it was like they were just lies.
And it was around the
it'd be like if
holiday too.
Yeah, I have a doctor's appointment on the 4th of July.
It was odd the way that it all went, and as it unfolded, it did not.
The timeline
didn't follow.
It didn't line up. Now, crisis numbers are always crisis numbers.
Oh, yeah.
She got some of those.
Yeah.
And Chantal was very familiar with crisis services. I know in her old neighborhood, I guess, because she used to go relatively often.
Yeah.
She said she was getting flutters in her chest and stuff like that, and I don't know. But before we go into this, the crying and the gnashing of teeth, we decided, we had talked, and there's a few things why she would go on camera and why she was having a panic attack. She was legitimately scared. That's not the real reason, probably. She ran out. She ran out. Or she ran out.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. She was hysterical. You can go to the hospital when you run out. You want to go because you're out of shit.
Yeah, that's been my experience. Even now in my most recent position that I'm in, the people that call, much like she presented that day.
Yeah.
The reason is that they're out and they can't get any. Not saying that that's all the time, but that prompts a person absolutely to have those behaviors.
Yeah.
It does. If she had something that day, that would not have happened.
Yeah.
She did not come to a spiritual awakening and decide, I have a problem and I need to quit. You know what I mean? Because that would have happened whether you had it or not.
Yeah.
Again, just an opinion, but that's usually the way that it happens.
That was kind of my thinking too. And also you can duck into the hospital.
Yes.
And get tranquilizers and other things to help you stay calm. So if she's run out of that substance, the kilos and the whatnot that she was doing, and she's panicked and can't get more of it, I'd be hysterical too. But the reason for her hysteria did not match the presentation of it. She was like, I'm upset because of this reason, when really she's upset because of another
reason. And I believe that. I think. Look, I hope I'm wrong, but I mean, I think that. My own personal experience, I did that same exact thing. I don't know, a good handful of times.
I just want to get better. And then the dealer comes through.
I'm fine.
I'm gone.
I'm gone.
I've literally walked out of the emergency room. Because I found $10 in my wallet to go buy a pint, or a fifth, excuse me.
No, it's...
So, she didn't invent it, and she is correct when she says people in active substance use can be misleading, can tell lies and stuff. But she's backed herself into an unbelievable corner because she says, I've told lies. What do you expect? I'm an addict. So either she does identify as a person with a substance use disorder and admits to lying, or she's lying about having a substance use disorder and is lying. So either way, she's full of shit.
Either way,
she's painted herself into a totally I'm full of shit corner. It's a hard one to get out of.
And I'm not sure if she realizes that with those statements through last week. She has put herself in a position, just like you said.
Yeah, she can't be believed.
It's
because
a shame, but
because of her own use of the words, by the way she put it together.
Yeah.
So I'm for her. And by the way, her cocaine confession was pretty much also a sales piece for edibles.
Yeah, it was.
Because while down talking coke, she talked about the beauty of the edibles.
Yeah.
How they're not habit forming, even though she can't stop for a day. taking
we saw
them.
what happened when she didn't have edibles.
She couldn't stop doing them.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's all
I can stop, but I don't want to. She won't quit edibles for the reason I won't quit smoking. I could stop if I wanted to, I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
She says it feels good. It makes her feel good.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably using them to speedball with the coke, so she's high and comes down and can sleep.
Oh yeah, the combination of the two.
The combination of the two.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. And the amount that she uses is a lot.
It's a lot.
It is. It's a lot. It does not matter if it's legal or not. Alcohol is legal.
Alcohol is legal, and I was in treatment a number of times for it.
Yeah.
And you can overdo it. You can really overdo it, and it only takes a couple. All of us are only a few stupid decisions. My feeling, me, Steve, from ruining our lives, whether we deal with substance use, mental health, or otherwise. We're all 2 or 3 bad decisions away. All she's got to do is get a little screwed up, more than she thinks she is, get behind the wheel of her van or car or whatever it is, go to get a twisty misty and sideswipe somebody.
I know.
Step out of the car, hamburger eyes. You can lie to your viewers, but it's hard to lie to a cop.
Yeah.
And even if it's legal,
behaviors.
Alcohol is legal, but if I fall out of the car, they're going to arrest me.
I know.
And no one plans to have that. I did not plan to have 2 DUIs about 10 years ago, but they did. It wasn't my intention, but whose is?
Mm-hmm.
It happens. You've had run-ins where
I have.
you don't plan for it to happen, obviously, but other things are priorities and you take the risk.
Yeah.
Of course that risk would be for a twisty misty, but nevertheless,
Nevertheless.
one must have priorities.
Yes!
One must have priorities. She said she talked to a family member who said, go to the hospital, get checked out. A few lines can do X, Y, or Z. And suddenly she has chest pains out of nowhere. And I don't know.
Well, again, speaking of track record, you know, she goes to the hospital a lot.
Often enough.
I don't know.
And it's it's kind of a smoke bomb. It creates a lot of chaos. Everyone goes from being angry to concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it kind of starts to change the narrative. It's like, oh God, we've really got to worry about her.
Yes.
Rather than being like, how could you do this? How could you expose this on YouTube? Like for family and friends and stuff. I don't mean go to the hospital to spook the YouTube community. I mean in real life.
In real life.
It kind of resets the tone.
Yeah.
From what are you doing to, oh God, she needs help.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's, again, probably some of the motivation behind this tear-felt.
Yeah. It's meant to set the emotional tone for how we're supposed to perceive this.
Yes.
And it worked I didn't buy it all the way. I bought enough of it. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of folks in her room who are like, hey, lay off on her. Hey, be easy. And calling her a chunky junkie, however funny that is, doesn't help.
No, it doesn't help.
Doesn't help. It makes light of a serious situation. Mm-hmm. But she doesn't seem to take it seriously either, which is hard to match. She seems to think it's like she's crying on camera, and 2 days later, let's go to Montreal.
I know.
No big deal. Like 5 days ago, we might have checked into rehab. And now it's like, not even it's a non-issue. It's like it never happened.
It's like it never happened.
It's like it never happened.
It's, again, track record. Track record, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, happy 4th of July weekend, everybody.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Scared the catty pan out of the couch. So, later in the same day, where she's talking about maybe I need to go to the hospital, maybe about this, her doctor's appointments, lies. They were phone appointments, and then I doubt those happened. I don't think they happened. No, I think she lied about her doctor. She did. She said she lied about it. She looks like a train wreck. She still can't sit still.
Even the one video, someone even said, I think
someone mentioned it felt like you were in a rocking
chair.
I was going over Just Saying, Thor, and then Chantal's content all together, and I forget who had put the thing in, and she's like rocking the whole time.
The entire time.
Yeah, that's a self-soothing thing that folks who have sometimes ID or mental health diagnoses have. I have seen people on speed do it, too. I'm not saying she was on speed. I'm saying I've seen people on speed do it. And I'm saying she did it. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, again, behavior. She doesn't all the time do that, and it was striking.
It was different. It was a little something different. So then we'll go into the next day. We'll kind of move it along here.
Okay.
She had snow. She had some stuff.
Yes.
After that, a few days later. And she came clean in the nice dress, but nice dress or not, it was the skater dress, the pink skater dress.
I know you.
She soiled it.
Yes.
So
You'll never look at it the same again.
She couldn't get any more. She had reached out to Dom, apparently, who hadn't spoke to her in a few days, to get some more, and she couldn't get it from him. I don't know that I believe that. She's out of touch with Dom. But
is that the one where she said, "Oh, he pretty much said, don't
call me
anymore."
Again. But then she found another hookup,
and then she found somebody else.
And then these trips to Montreal started. So, for food,
I mean, put it together.
I'm not talking. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I'm not talking. I'm only going on what information she has and try to stitch together in the style in which she lies. That's difficult.
Right.
That's difficult.
It is. It's hard to do. It's difficult. But,
it is.
You know. Well, you go ahead.
Well. No, this is the whole thing. She's framed it also as, well, addicts lie. What do you expect from me?
Yes.
Of course I'm going to lie.
Yes.
Two things about lying. Addicts lie, so get used to me lying was essentially what I got from that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that doesn't work that way. It's not a get out of life free card.
No, it's not.
Addicts
and when she says, I didn't choose to be an addict, she kept saying that over and over again. Well, what do you expect? I did not choose to be this way.
No, we can't get out of our responsibilities forever by saying that. And
if she was telling the truth, she did have the choice whether or not to pick up that drug 3 or 4 days later after being clean that amount of time.
She had a period of time. There was a period where she stopped using it, and then she chose to pick it back up again. However,
so she did have the choice. Yes, she absolutely had the choice at that point. There's a process to relapse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not like, okay, if we're talking about cocaine, it's not like, okay, I'm clean, and all of a sudden the cocaine appears in my nose. There's a process to it, even down to the making the phone calls, driving to get it, coming home, preparing it, and using it.
Mm-hmm.
There's pause. There's time. She absolutely had the choice whether or not to do it or not, unless she was using the entire time.
And then she never stopped.
One can argue that, okay, she didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, because
she was still on a roll.
In active addiction, the choice is taken away from you. Now, that in itself can be debated, or whether or not.
That depends on how you look at addiction, whether you look at it as a medical issue.
Right. A disease or
a moral issue. You think a person should just knock it off and be better and know better
and
get
again,
it together.
This continual, it playing out in front of us, and she came clean about that one. Again, it's like, first of all, the majority of the people were like, we're not surprised.
No, nobody was surprised.
The other people, she had lost some people, said, we're leaving. We can't take this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it was reminiscent of the first time where she confessed.
Yeah.
Again, then it brings attention to her. Attention equals views equal money. I think that's not the sole reason this is all happening.
Yeah.
But I think that it's part of it.
It's a little serendipitous. I don't think it's a good thing.
I don't think it's a good thing.
I don't think it's good that she continues to profit. I mean, she got really pissed at one comment that came through that said, you're lying to your audience to profit off your addiction.
Yes.
And she said, I'm not doing that. And I'm thinking, like, actually in some videos, that's exactly what's happening.
That's exactly what's happening. This should be a private thing. This should be, if it were being taken seriously.
You know what I don't know what she's doing now? I don't know what she's doing with Dom. You know why? Because she hasn't brought him up. That should be the case with this.
Exactly.
This is far more private than any hysterectomy. To me, this is far more private than any health problem, blood clots, anything like that. Because this draws in people. Because now you've sucked your family and your friends into this, because addiction runs through families. She was sharing about her father.
Yeah.
That he had a problem with alcohol. He was addicted to food, all sorts of other stuff. I should know this shit about your dad. You know? I mean, I do now, and it gives a little context.
It does. It gives some context to this whole thing.
But not always, because I am one of 3. My family, they fed us, raised us, loved us the same. Yeah. Nobody in my immediate family has a history of addiction. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody does. And so you can kind of look to someone's past sometimes, but sometimes you can't.
Right.
Sometimes they pop out of nowhere. My parents didn't see it coming because there was no evidence it would be coming.
Right.
Which allowed me to hide it really well, too.
Yeah.
So
true. Good point. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyway, so these are kind of the main points of substance use disorders that we wanted to kind of talk about this week. As it, kind of went on, we had some other topics that came up. Apparently she's going to Montreal now, without abandon.
To get
Food. Now, it's worth noting, and you speak more to this than me, going to get your fix, getting your fix, and coming home. Okay. Now, she was hysterical and crying and everything, but I remember going to get my bottle of stuff. Sometimes even the shakes would wear off.
Oh, when you
just on the way to the liquor store.
Absolutely. That's the psychological effect of it, you know, even the physiological effect of it. When in my own personal experience, I could be in total withdrawal, from my drug of choice, and when I knew I was getting it, I had energy, I was able to go get it, it lifts. The withdrawal starts to lift. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but it's very curious that she would drive, 2-3 hours?
2, I think, 4 round trip.
It would be like from us going to New York or something. I think it's the same distance.
We could be in New York City in the same amount of time it takes her to get to Montreal.
To get food. And she did that once before where she did she made a nice video out of it, she
went to
did
the
some
deli,
research on this
and it was
place,
that corned beef place.
It was kind of cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
This was very different. This was
she was already in Montreal and she was driving home.
Yeah,
I think,
and it was very interesting.
And she went for food. I don't.
And I believe...
I'm sure she ate while she was there, but I don't think that was the only point of the trip.
She did it again, too, right?
Yeah.
This is...
Well, no, she was going to go, and then she stopped at a friend's, and then turned around and went home to order chicken parm. I think that was the very last video. And then, of course, she's alive now, doing who the frig knows what. So to pull all that together, I don't know.
I know.
I don't know what to...
There's multifaceted things happening.
There's so much going on that's probably not being said, and the stuff that is being said isn't reassuring.
I mean, let's face it. She doesn't have... I mean, she hasn't presented herself as the most honest person.
In the last 2 weeks, she's lied a bunch. And she says...
Prior to that... I mean, we go back years, and she has been caught in lies, and, has come clean, and this and that. Yeah. It's... a lot of repetition here. This is just a different subject.
And her excuse will be, if I want any privacy, I have to lie. Or addicts lie.
That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true.
We have a lot
addicts lie, yes.
We have stuff that doesn't make it to YouTube.
Yeah, we have.
And we don't have to lie about it. And it happens. A lot. You just don't put it on camera. I could stream 5 hours a day and still not tell you everything. Because some stuff's not for YouTube.
Right.
Some stuff's not for family. Some stuff's not for friends. Not everything's for everybody.
Right.
But when you make it that way, you're wide open.
Yeah.
You're wide open for it. So, I don't know. I hope she's doing well. I'm never sending you money again. I hope she's okay. This is why people send gift cards to people like me for Christmas. I used to have an old meme that said, I gave you a gift card for Christmas so you won't spend it on crack.
Yeah.
I used to get so many gift cards for Christmas. No one gives you cash when you're using.
Right.
So I hope she's doing better. I hope she's honest with herself and maybe her family at least. She can blow smoke at the people in her chat all she wants to. They'll like her, she could run someone down dead in the street and they'd be like, well, it was dark out. So.
Yeah, I don't know. In my opinion, for what it's worth, my informed opinion would be, we'll say it like that, I guess, is that she absolutely, needs professional help. And I think that it needs to be approached multifacetedly, because it's not just about the substance use. It's not about overeating. It's not, there's a lot of things going on here. And in order to kind of peel away like an onion all of those little things, they all need to be addressed simultaneously. It doesn't mean, let's get the addiction under control and then work on this, let's get this
eating, and then we'll get the eating disorder, and then...
it needs to be worked on together, and the only person that is equipped to do that is a professional. Because in one of her videos, she said to everybody, "Oh, guys, now it just irritated me, and I was trying to find out why. Why did it irritate me so much? What do you think of my recent weight loss? Should we celebrate it? Should I celebrate it?" We know why you lost weight.
You lost weight.
No, it should not be.
If a person with a severe case of anorexia showed up and pointed and said, "Look at how much weight I lost," I would feel the same sort of way. It's like, well, yeah, you lost weight, but look how it happened and look what it's doing to you.
And I do hope, I hope she gets the help. Up until now, my opinion is it's all been lip service. You know, I don't know if everything she said is a lie. I don't know if everything was exaggerated. I don't know if everything was contrived. I don't know that. All I know is what she presents to us, and we have to kind of run with that, you know, take it with a grain of salt.
As with everything with Chantal, take it with a grain of salt. So
all of that put together, I hope that she gets help for it. I hope that the doctor and the therapist and the addiction people, all the people that she's been talking to, you know, whatever, I hope that that's all just put aside and she seeks professional help and follows through with it, because I'm going to just say this, continuing like this, it's not going to have a good outcome.
No, it's not.
And I'm not exaggerating about that, because I see it every day.
No, we go through the obits periodically. And
I have 4 people in our practice alone that died last month. 4 from ages 21 to age 67. It's
real.
Concerning.
It's real. It's not a poor person problem. It's not a rich person.
It has nothing to do with eating and being fat or not fat. It, you know, it has male, female. It does. None of that matters.
No, it can happen to anybody, and it has. It seems like so.
So that's my hope, because I'm rooting for her. I don't hate her. I don't
hate her,
know?
and
I don't think she's a bad person. I don't.
Yeah, no, and I said I'm you know her cheerleader. You know, everyone. One of these times starting over is going to be the time. If she's ever going to get well, one of these times will be the time. I can't fathom her being 55 on YouTube and still playing cat and mouse with Detox with her mother, who'd probably be in her 80s by then.
Right.
You know, people do.
Yeah.
It's been done. I have one playing on TV right now. But
just the fact that, you start... It's interesting whenever you watch somebody for so long, as we both have, and done, reviews or reactions or whatever you want to call them, you start to feel like you know them. You start to feel like you're a little bit vested, So it's not all about, cutting her down, making fun of her. And I've poked fun at her. I hope that it was, like in kindness. Like I hope
it's in taste, like a jab, and not like a deep, hard insult.
Yeah, because that's not me. It's just not me, So you feel like you're vested a little bit. So you kind of care, and I really hope she gets well. And I wish she would, I wish she would.
But it's, a couple things that stick out, and then I'll leave it at this. Yeah. In the 12-step community, they say, you hit bottom when you stop digging. Mm-hmm. Stop digging. Stop digging. This stops when you say it stops.
And please try to keep this a little bit private. It's not helping you.
For God's sake. And the feedback from a community like that is not helpful. No. They're not objective. They may or may not share similar circumstances.
It's like, I have a bump on my arm. Let me Google it.
Yeah. I have a bump on my arm. Let's ask 1,200 strangers what they think.
Right. Right. No,
it's not helpful. No, it's not helpful. It sounds helpful because a lot of people will tell you what you want to hear. But that's not always helpful either. Yeah. So, well, folks, thank you for our professional for sitting in.
You're welcome.
And sharing experience. Yours is different than mine.
It is different, yeah.
It was sharing our perspectives and some other folks' stuff that got me kind of rethinking about my perspective on what's going on. So,
yeah, sure.
So thank you for sitting in.
You're very welcome.
Thank you all for watching. As always, the comment section is open to everybody, so please don't hesitate to comment below. Thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe and hit the notification bell on your way out so you get alerts when we have new videos and when we go live. You can follow us on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc, and that's it. I almost said Twitter, but Twitter's not there anymore.
We're not doing the Twitter.
Twitter is scary. Nothing bad, nothing good happens on Twitter. Our email address and our contact info is below as well. Thank you again, and we will catch up with you tomorrow.
Yeah, for our live stream.
Sunday Live, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
It's very cool, very chill. We got good mods. Don't hesitate to stop by.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
It was really nice seeing everybody. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.